Let's talk to Clem Chambers. Clem, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
We've been sort of on a rip on gold, on Bitcoin, on US equities. What are your latest rumblings on your soapbox?
Well, it's a fascinating position right now. S&P, right there at the high, right at the top of that channel, which the Fed has been maneuvering the markets around. So you'd expect it to pull back from here. If it doesn't pull back, it's going to go on a burn. So we're in one of those lovely situations when you've got a sideways channel and if it breaks down, you're in big trouble. And if you break up, it's going to go to the moon. And that's where the S&P is right now. I think it's going to pull back. I think they're going to, reverse a twist, do their magic, pull the market back. They've got that range until QT ends, quantitative tightening, and that's in September. We're not going to be going higher from here. Could be wrong. If it breaks out, and there's only so much you can predict. There's only so much the market that the Fed can manipulate. If it breaks up from here by even 2 or 3%, it's going to go to the moon, which is kind of interesting. I would like that because I've got a lot of equity at the moment. There's a lot of value. However, I think it's going to pull back. Bitcoin is kind of in that same position as well, but much more accelerated. Hit $13,000 today. If it breaks up, maybe $1,000 more dollars, it's going to go straight through 20,000. And that's going to be a fantastic rally. Again, I'd like that. I've got piles and piles of blooming Bitcoin. I could certainly use Bitcoin 20,000. I think that's happening right now. Gold, on the other hand, of course, there's a whole generation or several generations of bitter old grumpy men who've got gold and consider it to be money and have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for it to go up. And guess what? It's gone up 8%. Bitcoin went up 8% yesterday. Gold's gone up 8% over the last 90 days. Because what is driving this would have driven gold 20, 30, 50, 100 years ago. But now the best instrument for the current climate of, strife and war and scandal and trouble in China and trouble in Hong Kong, China and trouble in Iran, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on. The asset for safety, for flight, is not gold, is Bitcoin. This world, money velocity, i.e. the speed at which money goes around the system, is slowing and slowing and slowing. Look at the Fed's numbers. Velocity of money, which is the key function in economics in many ways, has collapsed over the last 10 years. And money's got slower. Well, if you're in Hong Kong thinking you better move, if you're in Tehran and you're thinking of, hiding under a rock, you want Bitcoin because that moves fast. Money, not so fast, or money doesn't move at all often. I mean, in Tehran, obviously you'd buy gold. Well, that'll get you in trouble. The head gold trader in Iran got executed by the government a couple of years ago. So you can see how good it is to have your money in gold, right? Bitcoin, well, no one needs to know, do they? You could have $10 million in Bitcoin and nobody would know where it is. Nobody could possibly find it. And by definition, it's already not in Iran. So Bitcoin is having an uplift. And it's actually mainly, I believe, coming out of China. Now, that's the trade war, right? There's a lot of rich people who perhaps don't have much of a hold over their money in China. And there's a lot of worried people in Hong Kong. So I think you're seeing a lot of wash going into Bitcoin over the whole of Asia. You can see the market spike in the morning when China opens or when they get out of their beds, Bitcoin goes up. So that's telling you there's big trouble in big China.
On that note, Clem, we've run out of time. That's Clem Chambers. Thank you very much indeed.